I still have my guest in the studio. But before I go to Lagos, just want to go to Roy. And Roy, just to get your reaction to the MPC's decision today.
Yeah, in line with our expectations, and I think welcomed. I think from a financial market stability point of view. So we're quite happy with that outcome. There's obviously internal discussions taking place around other matters that impact Nigeria directly, but from a FDI point of view, from an offshore point of view, we're happy with the decision that was made.
All right, your reaction, Bismarck?
Not unexpected, and I think it was a prudent move in terms of he outlined the risks, the global risk, the domestic risk, and was forward-looking that even if you did, you accommodated and you moved, eased more or less, you would heighten the probability of things. And he also ignored the fact that because of what happened in Saudi Arabia and the current spike in oil prices, the projection for oil prices that about being around 55 and calling on the fiscal authorities or the National Assembly not to tamper with the benchmark. So here was a prudent move. Here was a move that looked at fragility of the external and domestic environments and erred on the side of caution. So I guess no surprises.
Any takeaways from the, of course, questions and, of course, the decision itself?
Well, I think from Roy's comments, and I think his earlier comments about Nigeria being one of the leading markets or the leading markets in sub-Saharan Africa, I think it was important to maintain that confidence to the international community. Yeah. But having said that, then I think it's time for us to look internally to see how we're going to create that stimulus. From what he has alluded to, it seems that they were trying to use the consumer spending or the consumer spending to improve aggregate demand and use that as a stimulus for growth. And I think the verdict is still out on that because if you take a look at the numbers which the central bank governor gave, and I think I was just talking with Bismarck on that, we've seen credit to the private sector grow only by 9%, while the credit to the government grew by 94.2%. That's nearly 100% growth in credit to government. So I think we need to be very careful so that the government does not crowd out the private sector. So I think it's important for us to look internally to see how we can begin to create that stimulus within the consumer sector. And more importantly, I think what I'd like to see is, and I think when Bismarck goes off onto his advisory committee, the synchronization between monetary policy, fiscal policy, trade policy, and investment policy. That is what I would like us to do. If we can address that, I think that we can begin to see some areas of growth. But the third quarter growth results are going to be very critical.
We look forward to the impact of this advisory council. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us today. That's our coverage of Nigeria's MPC meeting. Many thanks to my guests, Bismarck Rewani, the CEO at Financial Derivatives, and Tilewa Adebajo, the CEO at CFG Advisory. And of course, joining us from Johannesburg has been Roy Daniels, Head of Africa Trading Desk at RAN Metro.